Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you. We miss you. Your girls need you. No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you. I want you back so bad. So that's like the last kind of official video that Barry Morphew or the family has released. Now, there was an unofficial kind of video released via a YouTuber, and he stumbled upon Barry Morphew talking and gave him kind of his version of that story. If you haven't seen that video, you can see that video directly at Tyson Draper's YouTube channel. He has a whole long explanation and everything. But I'm going to show that video right now.
So, okay.
You mind putting that in your phone?
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. No, it's not on, bro. It's not on.
We've had a lot of media.
Yeah.
Bother us. And obviously, this is very emotional.
Oh, absolutely, brother.
Private from. But we searched. It's never going to hurt to retrace searches. So we've searched a 200-mile radius.
What? Really?
All of the mountains have been covered so far. But obviously, we're going to miss things.
Right.
So let me show you what happened. And I do have a reward.
There is a reward?
$210,000 reward. The bike was found at the bottom of the hill by that tree where the pink is.
Oh, really?
The first night there was a mountain lion. The officer seen it walk by the car, so we thought maybe she got attacked by a lion. We thought maybe she wrecked coming down this hill, a car coming around the corner fast, or maybe was disoriented and got in the river. We've covered all of this really good, this triangle with search and rescue. So we're pretty comfortable that she's not in this triangle between the RV park, your truck, this road, and then the next road. But what seems to have happened from the investigators, and they don't give much, and I've got private people working for me, is maybe she was abducted right here. And they found an article going west of hers. They won't tell us what it is. So they sent another team after they found the article that covered this hillside all the way down to the river pretty good. My concerns were this way and that way if it was the cat. Because the cats, they drag their prey up the mountain and out of people's. We can't find sign for the cat, but we got rain like right away.
Yeah.
Could have washed away sign.
So they found her bike just right against that tree down there?
Well, no, it was on the ground. The wheel was facing, and the sheriff department, they screwed everything up. They shouldn't have touched it.
Oh, really?
Left it. It's evidence. Pulled it up, and then the sheriff. And we had cars over here. Well, the sheriff let everybody drive through here, covering all, or messing up all the evidence. They were walking all over this area, which if somebody abducted her, they would have had foot tracks. They would have had fingerprints on the bike. And they let 10 other people touch the bike. I mean, we was really upset that first night that I was in Denver, so.
Oh, you were?
I didn't get here until 9 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
And my friend's an Army Ranger, and he knows this stuff better than anybody. And he did 400 tours in Iraq, Afghanistan.
Oh, is that?
So what I
All right, so this is some unofficial video that came out of Barry Morphew. Ran into a YouTuber, and the YouTuber recorded him, and it's out there. So now someone contacted me on Facebook, and I'm going to leave this person anonymous, but just through a few chit chats and back and forth in the messaging. This is someone who has known Barry. I think this is someone who has done another YouTube channel already. I think they've already done an interview on another YouTube channel, and I haven't even listened to it, and I didn't know that until just minutes ago, like when I was messaging back and forth. This will be interesting because I think this person got a lot of criticism from doing another YouTube channel. And so it'll be interesting to see how they react if this is the second time. I don't know if she's listening now or not, but I'm about to call her, and we're just going to kind of jump into it. Again, they contacted me on Facebook. I didn't reach out to anyone. They opened up line of communication a while back, and then finally they said, oh, yeah, they'll come on the show or whatever. So that's how we're here. And now I'm going to make this phone call, and we'll talk to him and see. We'll see. What can I do here? All right. This will be, shoot. I'm trying to. Bingo. Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hey, this is Michael, Dad with the phone.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good. Hey, so you reached out to me on Facebook, and you have some connection to this the Suzanne Morphew case because you kind of knew them both back in the high school days, and then kind of have just stayed connected via social media over the years. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
So, and
I've known Barry since third grade, so that's been a long time.
yeah, absolutely. So, and how old are you? How old is Barry? How old are you?
52.
52. So you've known each other a minute since, or at least you've known him and since through the school years. After kind of high school and stuff, did you guys have any contact or anything like that?
We did occasionally at our reunions. He made a point to come. Just every 5 years we have our reunions, and he was always there with Suzanne. I saw him at our last one 4 years ago.
Okay. Okay. And then
he just recently got a Facebook and an Instagram, and we've been friends on there as well. Now, however, I hadn't been friends with Suzanne on Facebook, but the Friday before all this happened, I had a feeling in my heart. She popped up on add a friend. I went to add her as a friend, and then that Monday morning, I had a dream about them on Saturday night, and that Monday morning, this all popped up in the news.
Gotcha. I understand. I gotcha.
Weird. Very weird.
And so, like, when you reached out to me, you're like, at least in the messages, the way I'm reading, and it could be totally wrong, but in the messages I'm reading from you, I feel like your attitude is something's up with the way Barry is handling this, or you feel like Barry has something to do with this because of what?
I honestly think, I don't know if he had an extramarital affair. However, I think there's money involved. I think that he might have been caught up in something. And him being the way that he's always been my whole life that I've known him, a cocky, narcissistic kind of attitude, I think he hurt her. And I don't want to hurt the family by saying anything, or the children, because they're innocent in all this. But I have a feeling that he's done something to her. He knows more than he's even letting up, and I don't even know if the police know more than we know, and they're just not letting us in right now because they're trying to hold this together, but something's going to happen soon. And I know he has had something to do with this, in my heart and my soul. And if I'm wrong, God struck me down.
Yeah, I've never met Barry and I've never been around him, and so I can't make a judgment on someone's character based on, what you're telling me is you've known him for a long time. You've watched him at least through high school and then, somehow stay connected. So I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy case when we think about the silence and kind of how it's died off and we're not getting any updates. They're
doing nothing for us. They're doing nothing for us, and it's making us a little bit crazy in the head because, this small town USA of Alexandria, Indiana is going to be rocked when the truth does come out because they all think he's done nothing.
And
all think he's innocent.
Oh, you mean the people around there think he's innocent?
Oh, yes.
Why do you think he's not innocent?
When I saw him on the video pleading for her return, I could see how disingenuous he was. And that wasn't the Barry that I know. He's ragged, he looks worn out, and he's hiding something.
Yeah.
He, the thing of it is if I had my husband was missing, I would use the media to every single ability that I could to get the attention that I needed.
Yeah, no, I
haven't done nothing.
No, I understand. I kind of understand both ways on that because of, the media can be your best friend or they can paint you to look as guilty as all get out,
You're right. You're right. I don't think that he's using it to his advantage because I know that he's guilty.
I mean, that's real. I mean, even for someone who's know him, right? Even for someone who knows him, and I mean, it's just such strong words in a sense that, and law enforcement hasn't done anything. So is Barrett? Was he a smart guy?
He was average. Yes, I mean, he was in the honor society. He was average. He was always very popular. They always had money. He was a little bit quiet, but he had a big ego. He played sports. He was offered a baseball. He was going to sign I thought he was going to sign with the baseball team, but he ended up going to college. Him and Suzanne went to Purdue.
Okay.
And he ended up not playing professional baseball. He went to college instead for his landscaping, his horticultural degree. But
I was under the impression he played he was in the minor league baseball.
It could have been minor. It wasn't major, I don't think.
Yeah, he was in a farm camp under the majors, but those teams are owned by major leagues, but he never made it to where he played in the major leagues, but he did. I think he was on some sort of farm, feeder team to the major leagues, but
that's right.
And because of this, and what are some things when you saw him at these reunions that I know it's hindsight because I know now, listen, these things have happened, but what has come back to you and you're kind of looking at that sticks out at these reunions and stuff?
I always thought that they were, I envied the perfect couple because you look at them and they're beautiful. They're outstandingly stunning. Okay. you always envy things like that. But now that I look back at all the other times, and then after this scenario and this whole situation, I remember her being so submissive and kind of under his control of his lead, per se. She didn't say much. She was a little bit quiet and a little bit underspoken. Barry was always the one that kind of made the entrance. And it just kind of reminds me of him being kind of a narcissistic, egotistical asshole that he was back in the day. Because he really was. I mean, he might have been nice in hindsight.
You say that like you have intimate knowledge of him. Did you and him date or something?
No, but he dated one of my best friends in high school.
Okay, when would your best friend talk to me?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'd have to ask her.
You should totally ask her because a lot of people.
There's been actually a couple girls that he dated that I from high school. I mean, we all hung out together. Oh my gosh! But
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Back in the day.
I hear you, but like if someone said they knew me in high school, with the rare exception of a few people in my life, like I can put on my hands how many people that I knew in high school. I probably can count like 3 people that I knew in high school that I would say actually know me today outside of just knowing me on social media. I have some friends of 30 years old, and I guess I have some people around here that have known me a long, long time, since the high school days. So when I hear this, I'm like, well, why are you so, you're so adamant in that he's this way, when it seems like everyone else is like, oh no, he was a nice guy, volunteer fireman, Christian guy, helped. And I've seen videos of him like building houses in South America and doing like really humanitarian things. Now, a lot of times men do this to cover up their evil side. They think that if they do enough humanitarian things, that it somehow negates their evil side. And so I could understand both sides of this. And so I'm just trying to figure out where and why you feel so strongly about it.
I feel that everybody's entitled to their opinion. However, that Friday before Mother's Day, when all this kind of hit me, and then I woke up, you know how you can have a sixth sense, even in hindsight, you can feel things and know in your gut and your heart and your soul that something is not right, okay? And then you start thinking about things in the past that maybe didn't add up, okay? And that's kind of what I put together throughout the years of knowing him and then seeing this whole situation unfold. Okay, money can't buy you everything, but it's definitely bought him a nice life.
Okay.
And sometimes when people are spoiled their whole lives and they have a bit of an ego, I feel like they think that they can get away with things. I really think that he thinks he can get away with this. I can't wait for them to piece together whatever puzzle they're putting together. Because there's something that's definitely not right. And I feel so sad for those girls.
Yeah.
They know something's not right. They're not even staying with him right now.
How do you know that?
I have friends in Colorado who have told me.
I got you.
I used to live out there, so I have friends in Colorado that have told me that they're not even staying with him. He's looking to relocate. He just moved there 2 years ago.
Yeah, and so are you still in the area where you guys grew up?
Yes.
What do kind of the local people, you said they kind of feel like he's real innocent?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why are there some that feel that way but don't kind of why wouldn't they see the same things you kind of see?
I think it just because they have been in that area for so long, the whole family, for years. And they don't want to believe that something this horrible could happen to somebody that was right here in our town. You know, sometimes small town USA, they're a little naive to think that things like this can happen because people can snap.
I got you.
That's frustrating to me because you know what? Bad things happen all the time, all over the world. And I'm probably going to get all kinds of backlash for even speaking my mind. But I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yeah,
and I know that I'm not the only one that thinks that he's done something. I know I'm not.
Yeah, and right before I came on, I messaged you and asked you if you had done some other YouTube channels, and you said you had done another one, and then you said that some of the major networks have reached out to you and stuff. You know, it just seemed, yeah, to me, I'm neither here nor there. Like, I didn't know the man before. I've never met him since. I simply look at this case and go, you know, they dug up someone's property on a tip that turned out to not go anywhere, but they still made a major move to dig up people's property, you know. And then there has been some weirdness around different GoFundMe's and beneficiaries and which way, you know, all this is kind of panned out. And now it's kind of gone silent, you know, and so I'm more interested in keeping it up, you know, keeping it up to date and figuring out, making sure that people are aware of it. Because sometimes when these things go silent, they just fall to the wayside, and, you know, the media is going to die off and the locals are going to have other issues to deal with. And the family's not going to ask too many questions if they're not asking questions now, you know?
Right.
And so I know that you're going to get backlash.
Why do you think that they are being so silent? That's what I don't understand. This was global.
Well, there's a couple of things.
All over.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons people speculate on their silence. They think, one, law enforcement doesn't tell us, you know, they don't want to jeopardize the case, and if they tell the family not to speak, most of the time, if the family isn't involved, they don't speak out. And I know for a fact that the plea that he put out, that Barry put out, was done without law enforcement approval. And so, like, that does say something. But on the flip side, like you said, if I'm Barry Morphew and I'm innocent, I forget law enforcement. I want people to come forward, and I want to do whatever interviews. But you got to understand, sometimes law enforcement tells them not to speak out. And that's what's probably happening with her family, with the kids, with that kind of stuff. So the fact that the family's silent isn't surprising to me. The fact that we don't have any info, they've done some really weird stuff, searched his house, searched his workplaces, but then didn't make any arrests, haven't said anything, haven't made any more statements about speculation, things found, where maybe she was on a bike ride, maybe she wasn't on a bike ride, maybe she was gone days before Mother's Day, maybe, you know. And so silence in law enforcement doesn't always mean there isn't something going on. I wonder where Barry's mindset, if he was in fact involved in this, did he make the ultimate mistake with cell phone records? And do they have a cell phone record map of Suzanne Morphew? And what does that cell phone record map look like? And so there's a lot of information that we aren't going to be privy to until they make an arrest and have an arrest affidavit, and they have, you know, and then we look at that stuff. So
look at Tyson Draper, that interview, that weird interview where he's talking about the police came in and they compromised the area that was searched where her bike was found. Come on.
Well, it very well could be. I mean, law enforcement makes mistakes, does stuff like that all the time. Now, the question is if they did that, if they messed something up and he's guilty, that works on his behalf, doesn't it?
Of course it does. And then, that just goes to show you that they do make mistakes. But, why did that video go down? Why was it up and then it went down? I don't even understand all that.
Well, first of all, that video's back up. That video's on.
Okay.
It's on Tyson Draper's page. 100% it's on Tyson's page. You can go check it out right to this very moment. You could go see it. So it's there. The reason it went up and came down is because of complete YouTube drama and just Tyson being new to YouTube, not knowing exactly how to handle what was happening with his channel and how people were reacting to what that video was and how it came about. So that's why it went down, but 100% right before I came over here, I can guarantee that video is up. I think I just showed a little clip of that video before I even called you. And so, that video is up and you can watch it. And Barry does give a unofficial, assumingly not knowing he's being recorded, kind of version of what has happened, So I thought for real that if when that video came out, I thought for sure after that video came out that Barry Morphew would do another official interview with someone to try to at least explain that, explain some of the things that are said. And so I have a lot of questions, but my questions are more around just wanting to keep her name at the forefront, and so
absolutely, that's the most important thing. And I mean, not having you have a $1.5 million home, and 3 days before this disappearance, your video just happens to go out. That's just weird. She, being the mother that I know that she was, and closeness with her girls, she wouldn't just go bike riding on Mother's Day by herself. It's just all very strange. And, people can take what they want from it, but it doesn't line up with anything that would be normal for her. She was a school teacher. She was a people person.
Yeah, on the flip side, in the middle of COVID-19 2020, though.
Right.
So, people are not literally, at this moment when this all went down, Mother's Day, I'm out fishing with my wife. We're in the middle of a pandemic stay-at-home thing, so it's not a normal time. And so we can't judge what's going on and how she's going out on a bike ride and stuff like that. I am real interested in why her daughters haven't spoken out, just because, one, I think it's probably law enforcement. But at the flip side, I feel like if it is at the direction of law enforcement and law enforcement really is at a standstill and doesn't have any more leads, at some point you have to tug on the heartstrings of people. And sometimes people are saying silent because they're scared or whatever, but you got to get those girls to at least ask where my mom is and anyone to come forward. And so I think at some point that has to happen. And the longer it takes for that to happen, the less impact it's going to have in a crazy world we live in. So
you're right. You're right. I want her to come home, and whatever has happened, have those girls have some closure of something,
I believe that. So, hey, thanks today for your phone call.
Hey, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Nope. And thanks for contacting me and let me know you wanted to, at least share a little bit more and go from there. So, hey, thanks for the phone call today.
You're welcome, Michael. You have a good day, okay?
All right, you too. There you go. Hey, listen, this is just people who want to speak out, and they reached out to me, good, bad, or indifferent, whether you agree with caller, don't agree with caller. It doesn't even matter at this point. The point is questionably the only thing we should be discussing is where's Suzanne? Where's Suzanne? Why are people talking about Suzanne? Why haven't law enforcement talked about Suzanne? Why'd the news media drop Suzanne? What happened to Suzanne? Why are kids not talking about Suzanne? Why is Barry gone silent about Suzanne? Why are all these things taking place? Why? That should be your real question. That should be your real question. Hey, if you want to reach out to Dad with the phone and you have, something you want to get off your mind, or you have a take on this, you can reach out to me at the links at the bottom of the page. You can follow and subscribe. You can go subscribe on YouTube at Dad with the Phone, or you can actually subscribe over at the Woodland Park Underground as well. I got to play these YouTube politics back and forth. So sometimes I skip around, and coming soon will be on a platform that nobody messes with us. So stay tuned for all that. And then what else I want to tell you? It's really about Suzanne Morphew. Where is she? What is going on? Hey, D, I had said this earlier, and this is really can't be understated. If you specifically, the 200 plus people watching this and the ones that will watch this afterwards, call up the 4th Judicial District DA, Michael Allen. He's up for election, and you tell him you want him to pressure law enforcement into getting out there and kicking in some answers for the Suzanne Morphew case. The only way this thing doesn't fall to the wayside is if you pressure the elected officials. The sheriff don't give a damn. The cops don't give a damn. But if you'll pressure the sitting DA, assistant DA, who is running for head DA, he's about to take over Dan May's spot. You pressure him and you tell him Dad with the Phone sent you, and you want answers in the Suzanne Morphew case. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. If you reach out to his election page on Facebook, and I wish I knew it right now, I'd tell you the link. But if you'll reach out to his election page where he's running for DA, and you start pressuring him to say, the public demands answers in the Suzanne Morphew case, that's the one person who can actually move this case along. I promise you. So there you go, my man. People, reach out to Dan May. People wanted to say, Shirley said, he said she called him. She reached out to me on Facebook, sent me her phone number on Facebook, and I made the call, Shirley. But I definitely didn't reach out to just random people in Indiana. Hey, did you know Barry Morphew? She totally reached out to me. No worries though. No worries, girl. Suzanne Morphew is what it's all about. Thanks for watching Dad with the Phone. You can catch me on all the links. Go tell Michael Allen, hey, we want to know what's up with the Suzanne Morphew case. Tell him Dad with the Phone sent you.